Yeah, go ahead.
If I could, man. What did you just think when they came to you with this matchup? Obviously, a guy, with some hype behind him, doing well in the UFC so far. Is he someone on your radar, and are you impressed with him?
Sure, I'm impressed with him, but I don't really give a shit who it is. Everyone in the top 15 is good. If it's not him, it's some other, killer that's good at something else. So when I look at it, it's all about game planning and finding ways to beat people. Obviously, Song Yadong has a ton of hype behind him. This reminds me so much of the Tom Duquesnoy fight. Everything about it, the media, the questions I'm being asked, it's the same thing. I mean, it's literally almost like I'm having deja vu. And that was the same 2-1 underdog, fighting a guy who was supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. But I mean, I think people know by now that Americans are the best. Like, we're the best at MMA. We just are. Besides a few outliers, like, for the most part, everyone that's really good comes from America, and even guys that aren't good come here to train. So, I'm just gonna give him a good old American ass whooping.
Do you think he's more dangerous than Tom, though, in certain ways? Obviously, you showed pretty good knockout power so far.
Yeah, sure. Tom, different styles. Obviously, Song's more of a boxer. Tom is more of a kickboxer, but same thing. Both dangerous finishers. Both kind of untested when it came to the grappling aspect of MMA. I'm a hard guy to hit. I don't get hit with a lot of big shots. I think my last fight I got hit with like 3 or 4 significant shots. So, good luck landing the right hand on me.
You mentioned kind of the patriotic slant of you saying the Americans are the best. Is it a little more special to do it in the nation's capital then, especially since the UFC hasn't been here for a while?
Sure, yeah. It's cool to be here, but it's not really. That wasn't really a shot at where he comes from, because obviously I respect him and where he comes from, but it's just the truth. I mean, even he trains in the U.S. Khabib trains in the U.S. Every single great champion ever has trained in the U.S. So we just have the best MMA gyms and coaching in the U.S. So everyone ends up being here. That's just the truth.
Adesanya doesn't train here.
What's that?
Israel Adesanya doesn't train here.
He's here a lot, though. I'm at the PI all the time, and I see him quite a bit. So.
How do you like the PI?
Oh, it's amazing.
What do they do for you?
Everything. I mean, from like a nutritional aspect, they take care of everything. I mean, you're constantly checking your weight. Things are constantly being changed, added, subtracted to your nutrition. I see a physical therapist almost every single day. 5 days a week. It's just every time there's a bump or bruise or anything happening, I go there. They take care of me. The next day it's okay. So that way injuries aren't lingering. Past a couple days. That, and then the strength conditioning program is surreal. It's kind of like I compare it to in the movie The Rocky. You go from training like Rocky, in Michigan in the winter, shitty weather, to like going to the PI where it's nice every day, and they putting you on basically some kind of machine where they're figuring out exactly what your heart rate should be, and they build this huge program around it. It's pretty surreal. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's been a really good experience.
What do you make of all this movement to the bantamweight division, right? Faber's back, Aldo's dropping down next week, Edgar's dropping down. Well, we'll see how it goes with the injury, but still, it's a
injury
moment. Well, so
there's talk you might fill in against Korean Zombie.
Because Brian Ortega got injured at 145, so he might bump back up. We don't know yet. So let's assume he fights.
So
Cody
they need
Stamann.
somebody at 35.
Yeah, they might.
I live in Las Vegas now, so they can feel free to give me a call. But I'm going to want a lot more money, just so they know that up front. But I don't know. In one aspect, I think it's amazing that I could potentially be fighting these guys that I, consider to be, legends of MMA. These guys that I've kind of looked up to throughout my fighting career. In another aspect, I feel like these guys are really stretching and reaching for anything they can grab a hold of to stay relevant in the sport right now. And that's like a hard thing for me to say, because I have a ton of respect for these guys, but it's also the truth. I don't know why Jose Aldo or Frankie Edgar would now decide to, at the very last leg of their career, to go to 35. Maybe they think they have a shot. I just don't think they realize that. I think 35 might be as far as talent goes, the deepest division. I mean, in the UFC. I mean, the only division that is comparable, I think, would be 155, and I don't think it's a talent thing. I think it's more of a name notoriety thing. People know 55 pounders more, but I think 35 as far as the actual talent and skill level of the weight class. I think it's the deepest. So I think these guys are going to realize that maybe they should have stayed at a different weight class, because they're going to have to fight not only, guys that have been already proven themselves as, great bantamweights, but guys that are trying to prove themselves as great bantamweights, and that's just as dangerous.
Rob Font has been pretty vocal this week. He doesn't understand why he's not fighting you. You guys were kind of seemingly lined up before, and then now you end up on the same card. Can you just address that from your perspective?
Rob Font should just count his blessings. He should just be thankful that he got Ricky Simone instead of me. Honestly, I haven't heard Rob Font's name since June. They tried to book it again in August, and my injury just wasn't healed in time. And it was just going to be a situation like I'm not in a position where I need to like push an injury, and I'm not financially, like I have to, just fight no matter what happens to me. I've been smart with my money, and I look at my career like a marathon, not a sprint. So I didn't need to fight Font. Obviously, I'm really upset about what happened with him. I was happy that they got John Lineker as a replacement, and I was hoping to watch him fight. Because when you train as hard as Font and myself, you deserve to be able to go out there and display your skills. So I felt bad that he didn't get to fight, but his name really hasn't been brought up. I don't really give two shits about Rob Font. I mean, honestly, like, who the fuck is Rob Font? He's already hit. I mean, nobody's saying Rob Font's the next guy to take the belt. No one's saying anything about Rob Font. I haven't heard shit about the guy. So, like, fighting Rob Font he's completely irrelevant in my eyes. I mean, even when I got that fight, it was like, okay, I'll fight Rob Font. It's going to be a nasty fight, but I'm going to whoop his ass, and then I'll fight someone that actually means something at the end of the year, and now I'm doing that. I just, unfortunately didn't get injured and didn't get a paycheck for fighting Rob Font.
When did you move to Vegas, and what prompted that?
August, and it was the injury. I mean, it was the injury and the combination of an injury and just feeling stale at home. I think we all kind of reach these points in our career where, we need to grow. And I just realized that I needed maybe more consistently good training partners, and I needed to kind of simplify things. And the PI in Las Vegas kind of did that for me. It was just the combination of having everything in one place. The PI. I got so tired of running around and chasing training partners around in Michigan, because there's only a handful of guys that are really talented enough, I feel like, to push me, and just having to constantly be on the phone and constantly, be the most motivated guy in the room is really, really hard. To where now I go to Vegas and have amazing coaching staff and all these guys that have the same goal that I do. These guys all want to be the best in the world, so it's a different feeling. Every single day in the gym, I'm like, man, and there was times during this training camp where I had a bad day and I got my ass kicked. You know what I mean? Like, that didn't happen back home. Like, for the most part, I was always winning. You know what I mean? You don't grow in that environment. And I really feel like as an athlete, I've definitely made some major changes, just because I had to fight a lot more adversity, through camp, and it's made me a better athlete for sure.
Just to clarify, are you strictly a PI, or where else are you?
No, I train with Eddie Bracco. I train with Casey at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. I do pro practice Extreme Couture. I utilize the PI for strength conditioning and things outside of actual skills training for MMA. But I mean, I bounce around to those places. I just found what I think are the best practices, and with the toughest guys around my weight class, and I just go to all those practices all week. And honestly, it's an insane grind. I'm still using, I still use the coaches that I had back home. I didn't forget where I came from. I still have the same boxing coach who's going to be in my corner. Not that much has changed. I haven't really subtracted anything. I've just added things to my training.
Is the plan to continue with that kind of bouncing around, or do you want to, moving forward, maybe settle with one gym, one team type thing?
Well, see, I think it's kind of a shit mentality for MMA, right? Hey, I'm going to train with this one team. Well, what if one day, you go in there Thursday afternoon and you're going to pro practice, there's no dudes for you to work with. So you're just like, that team, and instead of, why not go to the practice right down the road, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu with Coach Casey is literally, 3 miles from my house. The PI is 3 miles from my house. Shrink Couture is 3 miles from my house. So I can kind of coordinate with, like guys like Joe Benavidez and Tim Elliott and, some other, obviously some of the best guys in the world, guys in the top 10, and just like, hey, where you guys going today? They tell me, I go there. You know what I mean? I just figure out where the best guys are going to be, and that's where I show up. And it kind of seems like a pretty simple recipe for success. You know what I mean? If you're going with the best guys in the world every day, like, you're either going to quit because you're getting your ass kicked consistently, or you're going to get better. And I've gotten better.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
Hashtag beat you, Dylan.